Aquarius, and welcome to your October tarot reading. So let's start. If you are new here, if you're forgotten, guys, this is general reading. Messages can be very random in general reading. For your personal reading, book a personal reading with me at cattarot.ca. But here, your best bet is to kind of check your ascendant, check your moon sign, and check your sun sign, so that way you can get multiple messages. If you don't know how to pick ascendant and your moon sign, down in the description, you're going to have a link. It is free. Just go and check it out. So let's start. Or if this doesn't help, just contact me and I will just let you know. I'm willing to do that also for free. So guys, it's going to be really interesting month. It's October like no any other October. So let's see. Oh, something flicked over here. And the wheel flicked. The wheel is one of my karma cards. It's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck. And even though the kitty is spinning this wheel, and you know karma is always represented with this wheel, right? And it's kind of like really interesting. I see here 9, which means no, kind of like going in this direction. For some reason the spin goes in this direction, where actually really should be going in this direction. It's immaterial over here. It really talks about the drop of fortune. Certain things can just change on a drop of a hat, but this really tells me that something will be going right in good direction. Something is going to be on up and up. This is a really lovely card to get. So it's kind of like interesting that kind of like snuck up to kind of like be revealed. So let's see. Aquarius. And guys, don't forget I have live on Saturdays at 11 EST, Eastern Standard Time. Then if you're present on live, in every sign you actually get messages. It actually works that way. Ooh, that's another karma over here. It is the Ace of Swords. It's you have a major arcana, which is like you must do it, and you have a minor arcana. It's kind of like optional, but the messages are good to take because they can steer you in good direction. So the very first card, like if you would divide these two groups, major and minor, this will be the very first one, which is the fastest one. It's the card of victory. It's just saying, I'm doing it. I am handling this. I have a goal. This is a good energy to have, especially for us being an air sign. When it gets swords, it's kind of like a familiar energy. We don't have to work with, let's say, a stranger who we have to still learn something about. This is kind of like a glove that fits. This is really good. It also talks about enthusiasm. It talks about new energies. I believe this is possibly linking to full moon in Aries, which is also falling on the 1st of October. And that is kind of like giving this renewed enthusiasm. So when a card like this shows up, which foretells such a big victory, just like we had the Wheel of Fortune, it really tells you that maybe some of Aquarians did have maybe a phase of either bad luck or bad circumstances, or you know, like it was things were just not gelling. It was like nothing maybe that you can put a finger on, but it was just like not there. Aquarians need to be intellectually triggered and actually intellectually stimulated, and getting together for lunch, it's kind of like serving our friendly nature, but it's not necessarily kind of like making us flourish if the person is not as good conversationalist or open to different things, or at the very least into the same thing we are. So this card is telling me the fit is here, some good fit is here. So I have to keep it under 10 minutes as per YouTube algorithm. Whoa, we are having another vibrational one. So I just keep rolling through it. The sun is always welcome. This is the best disinfectant in all tarot deck. The sun kind of like cleans things and does things. Things are clear, like direction is clear. So this is 1 and this is 19. So it's 1 and 9, which is 10, and 1 and 0 is 1. We again looks like in this kind of like phase that is kind of like get somewhere. This is a card of optimism, enthusiasm. You see those sunflowers are turning after us, and there's like all burly over here, so nothing is turning, right? But this is the whole idea. It's kind of like enjoy, everything is done. Don't forget you see this little wall in the background? That wall talks about boundaries, and also means that you need to maybe exclude people. Not everybody should be in the inner circle. Not everybody should be, I know we are open to the old world, but you need to be a little bit more discerning about who gets more of your time in order to kind of like push yourself forward. So this is crossed with maybe the doubt. Maybe this is crossed with, well, I cannot make this decision. I don't want to make this decision. I don't know. Like, this is also a major arcana that belongs to the sun, and the sun technically belongs to Leo, but the sun is now transitioning through Libra, and it's going to be transitioning to Scorpio after 22nd. So that could be connecting to these 3 signs. So this can say to me that either there are lots of things on the front burner that maybe we are trying to attend to everything, and maybe this is kind of like leaving us a little bit worn out or kind of like wondering. This can also mean that we are dealing with somebody who kind of like has all of these different things. It could mean that somebody is quote unquote juggling, right? Something, or maybe even people. So if you're in a, let's say, relationship where you feel like a third wheel, or you want to be quote unquote chosen one, now it's going to be the time of certainty. It's going to be a time of clarification and a victory. So this doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win this person over. It means that the solution that is the best for you is going to occur, right? Let me repeat that. The solution that is the best for you, or for us as I'm Aquarius, will occur. So let's see more clarification on this. There have been some secrets, guys, and something that has been a burden, or this could be something that is pressing us. This could be something that is really hard, and we have been carrying on for a while, maybe even kind of like for a year. It has been something that I guess maybe we kind of like feel this, like 2020 is like almost like a punisher year of some sort, right? So this kind of like also means that, like, I mean, maybe too many things are taken as a burden upon us, and it's kind of like really hard to kind of like deal with this. So we need to kind of like understand over here that we need to organize things. Like, this kitty over here needs to drop all of this, because this is going to break the kitty's back, right? This whole path to where we want to get, are we ever going to get there if we cannot back to kind of like hoard the people around you? If you hired people to do some work for you, trust them, because you probably spent some time to figure out who they are and why you're hiring them. So delegate the work, delegate the stuff. If you have things that you want to have answered, that you feel somebody's keeping away from you, insist on it, because the sun is right in the center, which means it's going to be affecting all the cards. And whenever the sun shows up, even if we had all negative cards around us, it would make it not negative. It would not necessarily make it positive, but would neutralize everything. It's, as I said, a disinfectant. So the past. It looks like we have been going through a period of being tired, maybe even being bored. I mean, it could be just like, I mean, being pulled inside what we want to do. We kind of like probably had lots of ideas how to move forward, but these ideas are just like somewhere in our mind or back of our mind. We're kind of like dealing with this. Lots of things are happening over here. So this is the card that is coming and telling me which influences from the past are coming to the present. Maybe it's finally time. I don't know, this is not really obvious, but if you come close to this card, you can see this, a magic dust is being sprinkled on us. So while we're doing and maybe feeling guilty that we are just taking too much time, or that we are not productive, like we Aquarians, we always have our intellect and our brain turned on. It's our biggest blessing. It's also our biggest curse. So in this particular case, the messages have been coming. We have been receiving. Our antennas were at work. We didn't know how to sort it out, but it looks like things are mostly falling in place over here. Yay, we have another 4. So we are accomplishing what year number 4 wanted us. So for those of you who don't know what you're talking about, the year 2020, right? 20 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 is 4. So this is numerologically year number 4. Go on my website, cattarot.ca, and check numerology what year 4 means. In short, it's the year where we have to assert authority, when you have to get control over things. If you don't get control over things, they kind of like fly out of proportion. We kind of like lose it, which is going to be another cycle of 9 years to try to catch up with it. In tarot, when I see this, especially there are 2 4s, it's kind of like maybe we were thinking, well, what are the relationships we want? How, in which direction we want to go? So look at this, like we have air and fire, except from this card, which are the 2 elements that kind of like really bounce off each other in a really, really nice way. So this card to me usually means the next step. What is the next step? What is the next that you want? How you're putting all of these big ideas into practice. If you are with somebody, you're actually moving to the next step. That next step could be whatever something is meaningful for you, even if this means clarity, as the sun can show. There is like something unconventional happening. So you have the Hierophant reversed and sort of like the immediate thing that is really happening. So what is also immediate is like this full moon in Aries, and full moon in Aries is kind of like also connecting to number 4. So this is kind of like taking control of our lives. And Hierophant usually talks about groups and group think and group belief and somebody telling you how do you live your life. Not necessarily parents. It could be like a religion and the big corporations, and sort of like it can be a structure to some, but it can be also a brainwash for the others. Aquarians don't fit very well within the Hierophant upright, but we do feel very well and connected to Hierophant reversed because we want to challenge everything. We want to explore everything. So there's like some maybe burdens and some constraints that we maybe felt that we need to deal with. That could be a relationship, could be work, could be career, could be money, because it does connect to kind of like this liquid stuff and how you're supposed to do that. And how is not very typical for Aquarius. It's kind of like that spark that we are getting over here, of that burst of some idea that just comes through out of nowhere, pull it out from the thin air, as they say, that is coming to us. And we are not anymore following that beaten path, right? This is almost like you're getting in the bushes, you're full of birds, but you know, like you're also full of sense and full of kind of like different angles that you can see. In a very kind of like basic way, the Hierophant can also mean marriage and tradition. So maybe you're moving forward with something, because shows the next step, but it looks like maybe that next step is not necessarily marriage. If this is what you planned, maybe you're going some kind of like intermediate step, maybe moving in together, or if you don't have a partner, then it looks like it's really projected well to have somebody who is like really open-minded. It's kind of weird because this card usually means commitment if it's just solo, but with these 2 cards it kind of like talks about something that is very unusual. It's untraditional. It's not kind of, so you're going to have a person, could be your parent, could be your boss, kind of disagreeing. It's going to be like, well, we always did things this way. Yeah, and we always got mediocre results. Let's do it differently. In our house, we have 8 of Cups. Now, this is also a very intriguing card. Look, we are seeing the kitty leaving, and the kitty always leaves for the night because it's so interesting outside and all the smells and stuff, and they see well in the dark, actually. So it's kind of like something that is going to happen. It's going to really be intriguing for them, right? Now, there's like a smell of the food and everything, and could be a milk in all those cups, but a kitty is still deciding that the better place is to be outside. So why is that? And also, interestingly, we have the full moon. So this card, we have 2 full moons this month, so it could be the 1st or it could be the 31st. So the first one is Aries and the 31st is in Taurus, and it's falling on Halloween, so it's going to be a little bit kind of like wacky, but usually Taurus full moon is very comfortable, and it kind of like talks about connecting with the better kind of like part of who we are. So it would be good to take a kind of spa treatment or nothing else, fill the bathtub full of water and foam and treat yourself. So this card is leaving. and it's falling in our house. Yeah, I couldn't keep it under 10 minutes, which means we might be leaving something. We might be looking for something that is best for us. We might come back with this card. You kind of like coming back is optional, right? But it means that we are kind of like looking for what is the best for us. And this is the ultimate sign of confidence, because the kitty is leaving everything in order. There's like nothing here that looks like broken or damaged, that's kind of like you're quote unquote forced to leave, right? So this is telling me if you are, let's say, in this like three-party situation, you might be the one who's going to say, okay, maybe somebody's separated and somebody kind of has a tricky situation, and you kind of like want to be with this person, but kind of like the proper path is not available. You might find a path around it, or you might even say, just you figure out your own things. When you do, get back to me. Your environment is the Lovers. Love is going to find Aquarians this time around. This is like now really looking up. So these kind of like cards are really connecting. So it's going to be some kind of commitment, even though it's unconventional, even though kind of like there are like issues for and against, the things are moving forward, or at least somebody's offering, somebody really wants to. It's interestingly enough because, like, I mean, the Lovers card is also, and this kind of connects because it's going in this process. Lovers card is usually the card of choice. The story goes about the angel, or see the kitty, kind of like stepping in and saying, are you sure you want to stay here and play? There's so much more to discover. But at this point, discovering this love and this like kindred spirit is really, really exciting. So let's see hopes and dreams, and it's Queen of Pentacles. And usually I kind of read this card both ways. So Queen of Pentacles, some of you really want this cozy married life. Some of you want to be pampered. Some of you want to be put on pedestal. And it's going to be some of you that you are going to really attend to beautifying treatments. Remember that spa and stuff. So that's going to be more like, I'm closing to that moon in Taurus. Full moon in Taurus on the 31st that is going to happen. But the fear is that maybe somebody else is not putting in pedestal. Something is interesting enough, but why are we not doing this the way I would feel comfort in all of this situation? Let me also not forget to tell you that we also have a new moon in Libra, which falls on the 16th, and this can be a certain switch in the relationship, right? So when this happens, it's really good to share your feelings. This is kind of like going to be a different kind of bonding, because Libra is very political, and this can actually represent this a little bit as well. And so it's going to be maybe bonding over political discussions, bonding over kind of like thinking, kind of like how the system is screwed and how to improve it. So it's going to be very intellectual conversation of some sort. Another thing is like that we have lost this year Mercury retrograde. It's going to go from October 13th to November 3rd. And it's going to be kind of possibly a very nasty one, because on October 22nd, we are moving into Scorpio, and Scorpio and Mercury retrograde do not get along, to say the least. So we are talking about intensity, we are talking about possessiveness, obsessiveness, paranoid. It's just like, it's going to be tough. So you really need to brace yourself this freaking entire month, especially if this is a situation you're going through. You're kind of like feeling this. The excess might be coming out from the woodwork, which is kind of typical for Mercury retrograde, but it's everything is so much bigger, and not twice bigger, not 3 times as big, but like maybe 100 times as big. Because when we turn this Mercury retrograde, when it goes on 22nd, then it's going to be very, very intense. So it might be for some people really temptation with the axis, even though right now you're thinking no freaking way. You're going to see how it's going to feel really alluring. It's going to increase our sex drive to the freaking maximum, and you know, it's going to it can get out of hand. But on a positive note, the same kind of like setup can also make us bond with somebody for a lifetime. So it's kind of like the fairy tale. So it's very scorpionic, like love me or hate me. Anything else I don't accept, right? So this is heading into Six of Cups. So again, that can be that Mercury retrograde. It could be something from the past picking up. But this is like nice. It's upright. Like we have 2 sixes. This is a very soulmatey kind of like attitude over here that I see. So where this is heading is towards some kind of comfort. It could be feeling like okay. Usually this comes like in terms of memories. Maybe you'll be reconnecting with somebody from the past. It could be just simply Facebook, kind of like friends flying through, being suggested. So okay, let me just slip a note. It could be completely disconnected from the rest, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because the 6 is clearly connecting with somebody coming in your life. So guys, you either have something from the past that is brewing, that still has some issues on the burner that are still starting in the past, and are the question of either loyalty or dedication or commitment, or you have somebody who is going to waltz into your life from the past and all of a sudden is going to feel like a really great suggestion. So keep in mind that this person could be juggling. You really want transparency, you want clarification on the status of the person. Don't feel shy, don't feel like, oh, this is uncomfortable to ask. Just go right bang on. This is what they need to know in order for you to kind of know, because I'll see we will walk away if anything is less than what we really need to get. So my dear Aquarians, I doubled the time. This is going to be rated very low, but this is like what I had to say. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, this is where I put daily tarot card. So it's at Cat Tarot on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just go and check it. Also, don't forget, live Saturdays at 11 Eastern Standard Time. You need to subscribe and put your notification on so you get notified. And if you're not a subscriber and you got messages, this is a good time to click on the same subscribe button or notification button. Lastly, very last, if you want a reading with me, contact me via my email down in the description, or go to my website, cattarot.ca. Love you guys. Have a wonderful October, and I would love to hear from you. All the best.